Good evening, everyone. I hope that you've had a great weekend and a good day of worshiping the Lord this first day of the new week. I really appreciate everyone's patience as I was not able to post a video last night, but we'll just consolidate everything into this video tonight. As we've been reading in the book of Exodus over the last several days, what we've seen is that finally Pharaoh is allowing the people of Israel to leave the land of Egypt and are free from slavery. And in chapter 13, the Lord told Moses to dedicate the firstborn of all the people and all the animals to him. Moses, in turn, told the people to remember the day that they were freed from slavery. He told them that God would lead them to the land of milk and honey just like he led them out of the land of Egypt. Moses encouraged his people, teach this to your children about the day that they were taken out of bondage, something that needed to be passed down from generation to generation. He said it was important for them to remember this so that further generations would be more likely to follow God. As Exodus 13 continues, it tells more of the details of how God brought the people of Israel out of Egypt. And instead of taking them through the land of the Philistines, which was really an easier route, God took them a longer way. And he did this because he knew that they would have gone to war with the Philistines, and it would have been so distressing and so horrible for them that some of them would have wanted to return to slavery in Egypt. And really, it's funny because as soon as they do run into a little bit of trouble in the wilderness, that's the first thing that they say is they're ready to go back to the land of Egypt. It would have been better for us to have been there than to die out here in this desert. That's something they're going to say later on. So the Lord here is leading the people by a pillar of cloud during the daytime and a pillar of fire at night. And the key thing to note is that no matter where they were, no matter what time it was, God was leading them the entire time. In chapter 14, we see that Pharaoh wanted to find the people of Israel, so he left Egypt, and he ordered 600 of his best chariots so that he and his men could pursue the Israelites. When the people of Israel saw Pharaoh and his men approaching, they cried out to Moses. They asked why he had brought them out of the land of Egypt to this desert just to die. So here's the trouble, and they immediately are questioning Moses. The people told him that they should have just stayed in Egypt to serve Pharaoh because it was far better than just dying out here. However, Moses told them not to fear. He said that God would deliver them and they would never see the Egyptians again. He told them to stand still and believe in the Lord their God. The Lord told Moses to tell the Israelites to keep pressing on toward the Red Sea. And once they reached the shoreline, he told Moses to raise his staff and stretch it over the water. He said that he would divide the sea so that the Israelites could walk on dry land, and that's exactly what they did. And I love that aspect of it right there. I love the fact that God splits the waters open and the people of Israel walk through on dry land. Not muddy land, not swampy land, dry land. You see, when God does something, God does it 100%, not just halfway. Every aspect of that water was dried up, and the people were able to walk through it. So then Pharaoh and his men, they followed the Israelites into this split sea where they were finally swept away and they were drowned when the waters come crashing down upon them. And when the people of Israel saw the Egyptians fall, the mighty hand of God, oh, they were impressed, and they began even putting more of their trust in the Lord and in Moses. In Exodus chapter 15, it tells of the children of Israel singing praises to their Lord following their safe crossing of the Red Sea. The Israelites sang of triumph and of glory as they continued marching towards Canaan. And it also tells of how they began to complain and how thirsty they were and how dissatisfied they were with Moses. However, Moses talks to the Lord about it, and the Lord provides for them and quenches their thirst. God gave orders to the people, and he advised them to listen to the voice of the Lord and give all of their heart to his glory. And if they stayed true and did what was right according to the Lord, they would be saved. God's rules would be kept. The Israelites would be prosperous, and he would not punish them like he did the Israelites. Their faith would also keep them from facing any deadly diseases that now plagued the land of Egypt. In chapter 16, it's all about how the people of Israel were then hungry and how they complained then. But again, God provided everything that they needed and more. All they had to do was trust in Him. In chapter 17, it contains more complaints from the people of Israel and how bad they had it in this desert and how they'd be so much better off staying in Egypt as slaves. This chapter also records how the Israelites were then attacked by Amalek and how the people of Israel fought and they were winning the battle as long as Moses kept his hands raised. They even had to have Hur and Aaron to hold his arms up as they won this battle. And they named the place, "The Lord is my banner," just to show the significance of how God was involved in the fight. Chapter 18 contains the record of Moses reuniting with his wife and his children after his father Jethro brought them in, and they all celebrated together. Moses goes back to work serving as a judge, but the work was too overwhelming for just Moses. And so Jethro made a suggestion and told for Moses to appoint capable men, God-fearing men, who would help him lead the people. Isn't this so amazing to see how God is taking care of His people? But it's even more amazing to me about how ungrateful and how fickle these people are. They complain and they complain, but these are God's chosen people. And it is just the beginning of this love relationship that God has with them and the struggle they have with being faithful to Him. It's not going to be long after this before we start reading about how quickly they turn away from God and they serve other gods. We'll see it, a matter of fact, in the next reading. So for tomorrow, read chapters 19 through 21. And it is here that God will appear at Mount Sinai and the people will receive the 10 commandments. But yet at the same time, while they're receiving the commands to follow God, they begin to follow other gods. Let me encourage you, have a great week. Pray to God and dedicate yourself to Him. Get in the Word of God. Make it a part of your daily life. God bless you. I love you, and good night.